What you are watching in the Middle East right now is not a war being handled. It is a battle coming apart. Donald Trump is publicly advising the American people to brace for big losses. Those are his words. He is anticipating a war lasting 4 to 5 weeks. He is referencing the Venezuela example as his strategic template, and he is claiming to be in fruitful talks with Iran's senior leadership, a claim that Iran's chief negotiator recently publicly condemned as a deluded fantasy. Meanwhile, an American F-15 Strike Eagle has gone down over Kuwait in a friendly fire incident. Iranian ballistic missiles are breaking through Israel's Iron Dome. U.S. embassies across the area are under assault. Pro-Iranian militias attacked an American ammunition store in Erbil, Iraq. Dow futures sank 500 points overnight. Crude oil climbed more than 7% past $72 a barrel. Subscribe now and turn on notifications, since this scenario is moving quicker than any single media can track. When the next development breaks, you need to already be here. We are approaching 20,000 subscribers, and every one of them is witnessing something that most coverage is not presenting with the whole picture. Stay with me. Here is the entire picture. Consider a business transaction where a deal is nearly finalized. The mediator has stated a framework is in place. Your colleague is ready to proceed. Instead of ending, you overturn the table, attack the other party, then contact a reporter to pretend the conversation is going wonderfully well. That is not deal-making. That is a wrecking ball wearing a press strategy. That is precisely what just happened with Iran. A settlement was allegedly within sight. Oman's foreign minister had been intervening. A framework was being built. The administration conducted a military invasion instead and is now publicly presenting the people it is bombing as willing discussion participants. To appreciate how utterly that story has shattered, we need to go back 3 weeks. On February 12, 2026, Ali Larijani from Iran's National Security Council and the senior negotiator in U.S.-Iran discussions, mediated through Oman, went on camera and laid out exactly what was happening. He claimed Iran's conversations were primarily with the United States. He said Israel had pushed itself into the process with the clear goal of weakening and collapsing those discussions. Israel's aim was regional destabilization, and neighboring nations needed to be paying attention, specifically Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. That was the warning. That was the map of what was about to go wrong. Nobody in Washington acted on it. Or more specifically, the folks who wanted this war used it as fuel rather than as a reason to pause. Larijani has suddenly resurfaced, not as a negotiator, but as a wartime voice. He claimed Trump pushed the region into instability with foolish dreams and now fears mounting American casualties. He said Trump had transformed his America First motto into Israel First and was sacrificing American warriors for Israeli geopolitical aspirations. He claimed Trump was pushing the expense of his own character defects onto American military families. And he finished with this: the Iranian nation is defending itself. Iran's military forces did not begin this action. Trump informed the American folks he was talking. Iran told the world he was not telling the truth. The gap between those two positions is now occupied by missile strikes and body bags. The friendly fire accident is the second receipt. An American F-15E Strike Eagle went down over Kuwait, not by an Iranian weapon, but by its own side, crashing into Allied territory. Both the pilot and weapons systems officer appear to have survived and were located by Kuwaiti residents and delivered to local authorities. This is not an isolated event. It is a symptom of a bigger operational picture. Iran continues launching retaliatory attacks across the theater. Additional strikes have affected Dubai, Doha, and Manama. Iranian ballistic missiles have penetrated Israel's Iron Dome and struck Jerusalem. Drones used by pro-Iranian militants attacked an American ammo factory. U.S. embassies throughout the region are being overrun, mostly by pro-Shia militia organizations. The situation outside Baghdad's Green Zone is chaotic. Iran has activated its whole proxy network, which every intelligence analyst anticipated would activate, and which the administration evidently felt would not matter. The operational picture is not American domination. It is overextension, a theater commander fighting on 6 fronts simultaneously, while civilian leadership in Washington has not developed a clear plan for any of them. The third reception includes Asia, where the story is receiving the least attention. The New York Times reported that the Trump administration is officially delaying $13 billion in congressionally approved arms shipments to Taiwan. The stated reason: the president wants to create calm conditions for a scheduled summit with Xi Jinping in April. The Iran war has shifted military resources away from the Pacific area. The complete context matters. Xi Jinping has already told Trump he could not supply weapons to Taiwan, could not authorize Taiwan's president to traverse U.S. airspace, and could not support Taiwan's security posture. Trump cooperated each time, and now he has frozen $13 billion in military support that Congress had already approved. This is the same president who sees himself as the hardest-edged leader in modern American history. He is so strategically bold that he does anything Beijing demands, and then begins a conflict in the Middle East to display toughness elsewhere. The Strongman Act is geared for domestic audiences. Internationally, every major foe has appraised him and concluded he is controllable. China is protecting Iran. Russia is watching with delight. The U.S. is burning through munitions, credibility, and lives in a conflict that strengthens every strategic opponent it faces. Two forms of institutional behavior are on show right now, and the contrast is illuminating. Iran responded to the assassination of its supreme leader with documented institutional continuity, coordinated military retaliation across multiple theaters, full activation of proxy networks from Iraq to Lebanon to Yemen, and a public messaging strategy that is disciplined, targeted, and designed to fracture American public support. Every statement was precise, structured, and aimed at a certain audience. On the American side, the president estimated a 4 to 5 day operation that has now become a 4 to 5 week projection. He claims productive negotiations with a partner who openly denies any negotiations are occurring. He invokes Venezuela as a model, a place where his own regime change campaign failed. The vice president cannot articulate consistent war intentions throughout consecutive appearances. The defense secretary assures this will not become lengthy as the fatality count grows. Senator Lindsey Graham simultaneously pushes for military action against Cuba and Hezbollah, while American families receive casualty notices. The president himself, who evaded military duty through a medical deferment, sits at a podium and tells a grieving people that significant deaths and injuries are just what this requires. One side put redundancy into every layer of its command and communication structure. The other constructed a PR strategy around a single figure posting about Washington's social gatherings while soldiers are being slain. That asymmetry does not hold across a multi-week battle. The economic effects are neither abstract or distant. They are arriving now. Crude oil has soared more than 7% past $72 a barrel overnight. If the Strait of Hormuz interruption continues, economists foresee prices climbing substantially more. Dow futures lost 500 points coming into this morning. That is retirement accounts, 401k balances, and average Americans' money repricing in real time. If you drive a vehicle, heat a home, or purchase anything transported by truck or ship, the cost of this war is already creeping through the supply chain into your household budget. If you have family serving in the military, the president has informed you directly to expect more deaths and injuries. If you have family in the region, the State Department has conveyed they are basically on their own. And if the strategic priority of the century is the Pacific, the theater most defense analysts identify as central, the resources, attention, and credibility that should be concentrated there are being consumed in a conflict with no congressional authorization, no defined objective, and no articulated exit. Trump did not establish a strategy. He built a performance. Performances do not influence the outcome of sustained military confrontations. They cause casualties, economic disruption, and coalitions that quietly rebuild around the devastation left behind. Subscribe and remain with us. Follow the congressional authorization debate, the Taiwan repercussions, the next Iranian retaliatory wave, the complete oil price impact. This is not a problem heading toward resolution. It is moving toward consequences. Do not look away. This content is commentary and analysis for informative purposes and does not constitute financial, legal, or geopolitical advice.